All right, I'm recording. Welcome back to the real guys. Happy Wednesday to you guys. Hope you guys have a good week. Happy Hump Day. Yeah, outside today, enjoying this nice weather. It's finally almost 80 degrees here in Ohio. So yeah, enjoying this beautiful weather today. And just enjoying life in general. Life has its ups and downs, but we always keep flowing and keep going. And God always seems to, at least for me, my journey, especially recently, in moments where I get down, I start to question myself, start to doubt myself. God really always comes through somebody else, or just by showing me, just reminding me that, hey, you're right where you need to be, and uh, stay focused, stay calm. You're not where you used to be. I've delivered you from there, I've helped you there, and you're becoming you know, who you've always desired to be, but also who I've always planned for you to be in my will, and what I always needed you to do. And so, keeping that state of mind and going through each and every day, just taking one step one day at a time, and knowing the things that I desire and want, the things that I plan for and pray for and hope for are happening, already happening, even if they haven't fully happened yet. They're already in the motion. They're already in the works. Things are always where they need to, and so that's my mind right mindset, and just uh, share that, open up with you guys, and just kind of uh, be aware of your mindset, what you're focusing on. That's something I've been being more aware of recently. But yeah, welcome back to the real again, like I said. And if you're new here, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And let's see, what else we got going? We got the Cavs going on this Saturday. Wait to see that. Watched some of the play-in last night with the Lakers, and we had the Lakers and the Timberwolves, and then the Heat and the Hawks. Hawks won, the Lakers won. The Lakers barely won. They should have lost that game. The Timberwolves kind of gave it away. But they go on to play Memphis. Looking forward to seeing that. It's the playoffs in general. But we'll dive deeper into that here on the channel. Me and the guys will come on. We'll give our takes on the playoffs and everything. But I just wanted to come out here today, guys. Sitting around like, what kind of video do I want to put out? What do I want to talk about? I had a Tony Evans sermon I was going to react to, but I already shared it on my Facebook. If you don't follow my Facebook or are friends with me, send me a request if I know you, or if not, if you want to follow my content. Go on my Facebook, and I posted a sermon the other day by Tony Evans talking about detours and the patterns of detours. And he talks about how sometimes when we're going through things that we think are just luck or accidental or just things that are bad or things aren't going the way we want them to, we don't see anything, we don't see any hope in something, or we just give up or we just move on. And really, it's something God opened, a door God opened. It's something that's, uh, basically the sermon is being patient and trusting God and knowing that when you think things aren't happening in your life, that God really is doing something in your life with that situation. Or when you think all hope is lost with something, a lot of times God is actually working that out when you don't see it. The most of the work's being done when you least expect it, and it usually comes out of nowhere when he surprises us, right? And so, and sometimes God will go silent on us. God will confuse us, but that's to test us, test our faith, and test, how much do we trust in Him? How much do we believe in? How much do we truly believe in what He has planned for us, right? And so, check out that sermon for sure. But I wanted to react or give a quick take on my man. I'm gonna link it below. The anxiety guy, Dennis Sinsek, my friend, my brother. Shout out to Dennis. He put out a video yesterday on Rumble, another platform. It's his first video on Rumble. I created an account, and not only to follow Dennis and some other people on there, but also I think I'm going to put some videos on there myself. So let me know if you guys use Rumble, if you like it. I liked it when I checked it out. It seems pretty simple, and looking forward to put some videos on there, some content. But he put a video on there yesterday talking about fully surrendering and fully surrendering to the anxiety symptoms or symptoms of anxiety rather, and what it means to fully surrender. And it's kind of funny because I was just talking about that sermon with Tony Evans. It made me think for myself, like, that's what Tony was talking about in his sermon about patterns of detours and trusting God. He talked about the story of Joseph, no pun intended. If you look at Joseph in the Bible, he was wrongfully imprisoned. He was in prison for long years, long, long time. And he didn't get out until Pharaoh finally realized the dream. And there was a middle person as well in the story who they just didn't really realize, they didn't interpret what God had planned until God brought it upon them, and then Pharaoh finally realized what Joseph's purpose was in interpreting the dream, and he was set free from prison, just like that. And I'm kind of paraphrasing this a little bit, 'cause I'm trying to get to my main point, but uh, that's what that sermon was about, and from the biblical story side of it. But the same thing could be said here in your life. I use that as an example. And what Dennis talked about yesterday, fully surrendering, and what the sermon with Tony is trusting and allowing. And trusting that, like I said, when you think nothing's happening, usually something is happening. When you feel like no progress is being made in your anxiety, you feel like you're stuck, progress usually is being made. We're just not aware of it. And a lot of times we're not aware of it because we're constantly competing with the anxiety. We're not fully surrendering. We're in full competition with it. And we sit and we compete with it, and we sit and we try to fight off the feelings. We try to fight off the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings, and just the past. We try to, just we try to keep ourselves in like this state of just like constant coping, constant trying to just get by each and every day, or for stretches. We just try to get by for little phases. I think with Dennis's video, why I wanted to give a take on it real quick is just because everything he said, and I'm gonna link it below, like I said, but everything he said in that video was so true, just about just fully surrendering. You get a feeling in a situation, right? Sometimes when we get in certain situations, we get a certain feeling, maybe a knot in the stomach, and then that stomach turns into that knot in your stomach feeling, the sensation turns into tension. That tension just starts to go throughout your whole body. Now, before you know it, overtakes your whole day, or overtakes you that moment, it overtakes your thinking, you're panicking now. It's just a snowball effect, right? I've been there, we've all been there. It can happen with sleep, like a lot of times with insomnia, which I've dealt with. And, you know, you can't sleep because maybe you just certain things on your mind you're worried about, something's keeping you up, or you have a panic attack that comes out of the blue. Maybe you feel like a little derealized, depersonalized, you feel that defense mechanism from your body. 'Cause that's really what it is. We're in constant full competition. We're allowing that to control us, to dictate how we think and how we act, and how we operate throughout the day. It's like constantly, like I said, it's like trying to get by, trying to survive, and that type of thinking each and every day. And all that does is just keep us in the state of survival. It keeps us in the state of um, you can't really heal. You can't really untap your full potential and realize how strong you really are when you constantly allow something to control you and to dictate everything you do. And so, in Dennis's video about fully surrendering, it's just basically waving the white flag. So when that knot in the stomach comes up, or when that sensation comes up, when that thought, that feeling, that emotion, that negative automatic thought comes up, we just kind of we don't react to it. It's just there. You just let it sit there, and you just keep going throughout your day. You stay focused on your external environment, wherever you're doing. You look at the trees, you can look at the water, like in front of me, the trees, the water, the birds, the wind of the trees, the sunshine, the blue skies, the green grass, just kind of the flow of nature, right? Or just look at the person walking out in the distance. You hear the cars going by. You can hear all kinds of things. You can hear the geese in the water. You can hear uh, whatever's around you, and just stay more present. That's what all it is, just staying present. Not because it's very easy. One thing I noticed for myself is sometimes when I'm feeling something, if something's coming up maybe in the end of the week, or if I'm going through something, or that I'm not as worried about it anymore because I've grown from it, but I'm still, and maybe it's like something that was part of your Something maybe it's something that you used to be worried about a lot, that used to control you, give you bad anxiety, you've kinda grown out of it more. Maybe it's something new, maybe it's something that is giving you anxiety because it's new, or maybe just something's coming up, right? Or just something's going on in your life, and you're feeling some sensations from it, or you're thinking certain thoughts, you just have a lot going on, right? Maybe something happened that you couldn't control, and there's just a lot going on. It's how do we respond to that? Because one thing I've noticed for me is a lot of people go through this as well, and I've been working out of this for a couple months now. Now I'm more aware of it. Last 3, 4 months is really just don't allow how you feel and how you think to dictate. Don't allow how you feel, what you're thinking, and all that, what state you're in, to dictate your overall health, to dictate who you are as a person, to dictate your identity, and to dictate your progress. You shouldn't let one moment or one day or a couple days or just a little, something small that's really small and is all based off of fear and illusion. You can't allow that to dictate who you are. If you've gone through something in your life, something that maybe someone let you down, something that some type of trauma, right? Trauma can go many different ways. And that be trauma doesn't always have to be something like traumatic, like how we deem as traumatic. It could be something that is a traumatic experience when you're a kid, or um, a lot of a traumatic emotion. You had to move on from something or someone. You had to something was taken from you. Something happened to you that wasn't your fault, or something that was you didn't see coming. That it broke your heart, or it just let you down and just shattered you. That it happens a lot of times to people. And how do we respond to those things? And you have your periods after that where you kind of go through it, which is normal, and you work through it, which I went through for a while. I had some experiences where really challenged me, but also, uh, really for a while there was a lot of things for when I was younger, when I was 11 years old, 15 years old. I had some experiences, especially when I was 15. I was in high school. I had a lot of plans, had a lot of ambitions, and a lot of it was just taken away from me. It just was gone, just like that. And I sat around for years and just I let that control me. I let that depression of that control me. And I tried to work out of it, and I was trying to cope with it, and try to I was competing with it is what I was doing. I was trying to portray this image of someone else, or not to portray an image. I was trying to forget about it, stuff it aside, and try to try to just forget about everything and everyone that was involved with that. I try to just uh, you know allow that. I was allowing that anger to control me. I was allowing the sadness of it to control me. Because what it did eventually down the road, once I faced another obstacle again in my life, and more changes in my life, it brought me back downhill and took me in a deeper hole than where I started because I was still hanging on to something that hadn't fully healed. And then when I faced another challenge, because we're always going to face challenges in life, you can't predict what happens in life. Once, a couple years after that, I had to move. I had the moving and everything that was going on at the time. I had a loss in my family, so I had a lot going on. All those challenges brought me back down, and I was still hanging on to that past experience because I never fully healed it. Right? I never fully. I'm not gonna beat myself up for it because I was only 17 years old. I'm only 23 now. But I don't know. I know a lot more wiser now, a lot more mature, and just a lot more grounded, and just better in every area of my life. I'm better now than I was a year ago. I'm better now than I was 4 to 6 months ago. And not that I was bad then, but I've just done a lot of different things now. That really got emotional. I've done a lot of different things now to really challenge me and challenge me, but also I did a lot of things by putting myself out there, confronting things finally, um, and just chasing my dreams, chasing things that I desire, and just allowing them to be. Um, but again, it took me some time to get there. But again, a lot of people allow those past experiences or allow things to. It's like stored data inside of us, and it doesn't get dealt with until we face it head on. And so, again, that's what fully surrendering is. Fully surrendering is getting to the root causes, getting to the root cause or causes, being honest with yourself and just allowing, not competing anymore, And it's a mindset basically of, you know what, anxiety, you're a lie. This fear I have or what I have is, we don't control anything. God controls everything. And so if God allowed it into your life, then there's a purpose for it. And if you truly have a relationship with God, you believe in God, if you truly want to be in His will and what He desires for you, sometimes things happen. Like when that happened with me, I was angry. I was like, why did this happen to me? This isn't what I planned. I'll never have, not, and there are things I'll never be able to do because you only have it in that time period when you're in high school, right? So I'm like, gosh, I'll never be able to do this again. Like that was, you only get one shot at it, and I never got a shot. That was it. And it's just I was angry. I was just down, depressed. I'm like, why? Why did this happen to me? But what I realized was once I finally stopped playing the victim, once I finally started to challenge those beliefs and that victimhood and challenge that, uh, you know, sense of control and just challenge all that crap. I started to slowly over time, I started to see the other side of it and start to see, and it was like God started to open my imagination more. I started to open he, he opened my imagination, but he also, at the same time, as he was opening my imagination, he was sparking my creativity. He was putting in new beliefs within me, bringing new people into my life that I needed to help me, some people I never even met. And just uh, along, and as time went on, I started to get that feeling back again, that feeling of like a child, or when I was a kid, or when I was in high school, going into high school, that feeling of just fire, and just like hoping. I know the best is coming. There's so much opportunity in front of me, and just like a regenerate, like almost like a reinvigoration of life again, right? And so, but it wasn't until I finally said enough was enough. And you know what? Yeah, certain things that happen, but that's just one part of your life. That's just one. Those were just certain parts of my life. They don't define who I am. They don't define who I was, what happened to me, or what happened to me doesn't define who I am. None of that stuff matters. God had a different plan for me. Now, it took me some time to understand that, obviously, but uh, it wasn't until I fully started letting go and putting myself out there with myself first, and really just being vulnerable and embracing new things. What I used to think was what I needed in my life and what I thought all there was really wasn't. And I know that might be a lot there, but there was different. God had better plans for me. He had better. He had just everything. There's more people in his life. He had planned for in my life. He had planned for me that I never really thought of. Relationships, just goals, what I want to do with my life. This podcast, for instance, I would have never thought of doing something like this. Uh, I wouldn't have thought of doing this. Maybe sports wise, but not like this with anxiety and this, all the stuff. I would never thought of this probably at least at the most I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even sooner. You know, I never had the idea of that, of doing this and doing all the things I've done. I never would do the things I'm doing now, even like putting, I post things on my Instagram, pictures of myself out, doing what I do on my bike and stuff. I put stuff, put a message with it and stuff, kind of what I'm going through at that time or what I'm thinking or something that's in my head that I like, a verse or something. I never thought of doing any of that even a year ago or a year and a half ago. Definitely not 2 years ago. And so, a lot of that hesitancy started to go away from me. Those false beliefs, those roadblocks, the things that try to hold me back and keep me in that safe, what my mind deemed as safe. Trying to play it safe, not allowing myself to be out, put myself out there, not allowing myself to just be, just to live, right? And in the video, he talks about fully surrender, but he also talks about sitting with it. And so now I'm going to talk more in terms of anxiety real quick, and I'll wrap this up. Um, but just sitting with the feeling, sitting with the thought. What happens is you start to realize when you don't compete with it, you start to guide it. You start to become one with it. And then you start to build a healthy relationship with it. And when you start to build a healthy relationship with your fears and those thoughts and those feelings, it doesn't mean you're gonna be perfect, and you're never perfect. It's not gonna be great right away, but the more you do it, uh, the more you start to realize how much power it really has, and how small and how little it really is, and how much validity it really has. And you start looking at your past experiences, because a lot of times what we fear too is just repeated fear. Like we fear an upcoming situation or something, but it's something we've done before many times. It's something that we've gone through many times, and the worst fear has never happened, and it's never going to happen. It's an illusion, right? Anxiety and panic can't kill us, can't harm us. It's never killed or harmed anybody. It's just a symptom. Anxiety and panic is just a symptom of a fear. And fear is a part of us that's in us, but how do we make a healthy relationship with fear? How do we override the flesh, right? And this is where spiritual speaking comes in. It's like it says in the Bible, and I learned from, uh, you know, Tony Evans, Charles Stanley, Billy Graham, and the pastors I had growing up. You override the flesh with the spirit and the word and truth. You ground yourself in truth, and you just stay focused there. It doesn't mean those things won't pop up. I mean, here we're surrounded in society with you can go on social media, you can go drive around your town, you can go drive to work, you can go out to anywhere you go. We're surrounded by fear and just negativity and just things that aren't good for us, unhealthy things. We're surrounded by a lot of it, right? And so, um, you know, we can't control some of the things that we're always gonna be surrounded by it. It's always gonna be in front of us. Fear, temptation, things that tempt us to bring us down or make us worry. You can go down the road and see a billboard or something. So you need to go get this checked. You have health anxiety, or there could be this, or oh my, society tells us we need everything right now. Like people will tell, because I'm 23, there's some things I don't have yet, which is fine. Like I'm not in a relationship yet. I'm not there's certain things I don't have in my life yet. But society would tell me, oh my gosh, you missed out, and it's too late, or it's you need to hurry up and settle, and that's what it tells you to do, is settle, right? And it's almost like settling is like the same mindset of anxiety. If I get the symptom, if I get the feeling or the thought, I want to let that. A lot of times, what people do is we'll settle into that. We'll let that control us. That's basically what you're doing. You're settling and allowing that fear to control you. Same thing with your life in general. And it's like what Tony Evans' sermon about detours. This is what I had to learn from my life. I didn't miss out on anything, and I'm 23 years old. I'm still very young. Uh, very, very young. 23 is a very, very young age. I'm not even a quarter of my life yet. But also, you know, it's part of us humanly. Yes, sometimes we sit and desire things, and we sit and it's very easy for us as humans to sit and you know get kind of down. Maybe we see other people with things that we want, or we wait. When's our time gonna happen? And it's the same thing in that story with Joseph in the Bible. God, he was telling God, I don't see it. I don't have anything to go off of right now. It's something got to happen. Like, when's this gonna change? Right? He was in prison for so long, for I think 8 years, I think it was, um, for years. And so, you know, for me, what helped me was just when I surrendered to those thoughts and those feelings and those fears, and really looked at them for what they really are, and really dove deep into them. They're false. They're inaccurate. The stuff we hear in our society, it tells us we need everything right now. We need to do. If you're not doing anything, you're not doing something every day and doing a rat race like everybody else. You're not doing anything in life. You're just, people say they'll call you all kinds of things. They'll label you. People like put labels on us, judgments on us, because they're trying to cast something inside of them, and insecurity inside of them, and take it out on you. But that's just how we're just programmed to think in our society. But it's like Dennis says in the video. If you're at a park or something, you're out. Let's say you're out in the public, and you just sit there with that feeling. You close your eyes, and as you sit there and close your eyes, you feel the knot in your stomach, right? You get that thought, and you don't add to it. You just allow. You just sit there with it. And he's like, as I'm closing my eyes, someone could walk right in front of me, look at me like, why is this guy sitting here with his eyes closed? Why is he not doing something? Why is he not out biking? Why is he sitting there? Right? And so That's the whole point of it. And when it comes to your anxiety, is sitting and allowing. Because the more you allow, it weakens the power it has over you. You realize how what it really is nothing. It's what's always concerned with Tony. Why are we're going to detours? We don't see anything. People tell us, why are you waiting? People could tell me all the time, why am I waiting for something? Why have you moved on yet? Why are you know, why wait? Why you wait around with that? Make it happen right now. Give up on that. This isn't working. Your program you were doing with your anxieties, that's not working. You're not seeing, we don't see the results we want to see right now from you. And that's how some people can go through that. Or people can say, you can say it to yourself, like, oh my gosh, I'm not where I want to be yet, even though you're only like just started, you haven't really given it time to work. That's the whole point. You have to give things time to work. And you have to block out all that stuff. When people say do it right now, sometimes the best thing you can do is wait. You know, Tony says in the sermon, God is a God of time. And so, like, for me, for my life, I'm become very content, especially recently. The last couple months, I've done some things that really challenged myself privately, personally, for myself. Um, and it made me be more content, and it's helped me become more patient. It's helped me become more um, patient, content, but also just my overall trust and faith in God in general, knowing that God led me down certain roads to do certain things that maybe aren't complete yet. Maybe I don't know the answers to. I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know what the other side is, where the other side is. But all I can do is just trust God and know that until I feel like He wants me to move forward, I'm going to wait for Him. And that's all you can do. When He calls you to do something, you do it and you act in faith. You put your, it's like acting in faith, but also uh, taking risk as well. Because if you're not willing to take risk in life, or a lot of times what we think is risky really isn't risky. It just seems risky because there's a roadblock in front of us, that fear, because there really is something there. A lot of times that's what the enemy will do, especially when it's something in God's will. He'll try to fog our mind with fear. The enemy will try to fog our mind with fear in the society and say, no, 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 don't do that. That's a little too risky. But to get things worthwhile in life, to accomplish dreams and goals, and to go for things, and to achieve the best, and which the best is really God's will. And if you really want to see what God's glory and power really is, you got to take risks in life, and you got to let go. And that's what I've done. But I will never got to that point unless I started to fully surrender more. I started to allow more. I started to focus on the truth more. I started to focus on you know how far I've come, not how far I have to go. Because I'm not really the things I don't have, the things goals and dreams I have, and things I want in my life. I'm not far away from them at all. I know that, and you're not far away either. And don't ever think you are far away. God can flip it on a dime just like that. And He flipped things in my life in a year, not just a podcast, but many other things that just came back in my life, things that happened. I was like, whoa, like I was just like kind of threw me off sometimes. Still does when I think about it. Like, when I was reflecting a couple weeks ago, it was a year when it was the 1 year since my podcast at the end of March. I was just kind of like, man, I couldn't believe just all that I've done in a year, just for myself, and just for other people, and just my family, and just my friends, and just most point for God and what He's done for me in a year, and what He's taken me in a year. I'm just like, man, I can't imagine what's next. Like, um, you know, it's like if you watch Israel Adesanya on Saturday, you're in the UFC. Israel's one of my favorite fighters, one of my favorite athletes, and he couldn't beat Alex Pereira. He fought him 2 times in kickboxing, lost both times. He fought him in the UFC back in November, I think it was, and he thought he could beat him then, lost then. So he went 0-3 against this guy. And here he goes in his fourth matchup on Saturday and wins in the second round. You hear what he says after the fight? He goes, "Man, if you could just understand this feeling I have right now of happiness, and just you just saw a guy with perseverance, just never gave up. Kept fighting, kept fighting. Even though he got knocked down, everybody doubted him. Said, you can't beat this guy. You're not gonna beat this guy. 3 times he's already beat you. You're not gonna beat him." It's not going to happen. Move on. Like you're just going to lose, and that's it. He didn't believe any of that. He stuck to his intuition. He stuck to his belief. He stuck to what he knew was true, and he waited, stayed patient. He kept working on himself. He kept getting better, and he got his opportunity, and it happened just like that. That and then you look in the fight when he knocked out Pereira. It happened just like that. It was fast too. Like it looked like he was pinned against the thing. He was playing possum though. He was pinned on the cage, and all of a sudden, just bam, just happened just like that. Same thing with God in your life. Same thing with your realization with your anxiety. Things can happen just like that. They can flip on a dime just like that. So when we start, like Dennis says in that video, start surrendering, letting go, and just embracing. Embrace the new. It might seem different at first, and then when you start to feel that defense, that uncertainty, that hesitancy, realize that's a defense mechanism in your body, just trying to hold you back. That's all that is, and just trying to hold you back and trying to keep you there, trying to keep you down, trying to keep you what it deems as safe. It doesn't want you, your body, your mind, your lower self, as Dennis calls it. I like that. Your lower self doesn't want you to embrace the new things. It wants to keep you in that you know, state of survival, almost state of fear and anxiety, because it feels like it's getting something from that, gaining something from that you crave, right? You're hanging on to something. But a lot of times, like for me, I thought I was hanging on to things. I thought I was hanging on to things I didn't want to let go of that I thought I needed. But then I realized that God had better. And a lot of times, the things that I actually truly wanted were still there. And when He allowed them into my life, or brought things back, or when I finally took the steps to, step out and take risks and put myself out there and embrace the new and try a different perspective, was when I started to see that things were actually never what I thought they were. And also, were and uh, possible. Okay, I'm back. And I know He's got me. And I know, you know, um, yeah, it's just all He's got me. And I know He showed me I thought they were. In the time, and now it's like start to see you keeping that godly information, that godly mindset, that godly, almost like the godly lens on something, not with the worldly lens. Because you allow the worldly lens on it, you're going to see all the negative and things that aren't true and aren't accurate. But you allow this to control you to give up on things, quit on things, and you'll say, that was just an accident. It was just luck. It was just a coincidence. Or that's when in reality it's not. And if you truly believe in God, God does things that seem out of the ordinary, things that we never thought would happen, things that we gave up on or thought were, wishful thinking, or because that's how God is. God likes to show off His power because He wants to get a point to you to never doubt Him and how strong, how powerful He is, show His love to us, much like He did when He sent His Son to die on the cross for our sins. But also how people that the people that doubt you and doubt what's going on in your life, those people that say don't do that, He'll get to them through you and show them that no, this is possible. No, look, people remember. Hey, remember when I told that guy don't to give up and not do that, whatever that was, and he said no, and he said I'm gonna keep going because he believed that God had something for him, and now look at him. God could do that in your life, and how powerful is that? And so, look at what I'm starting to do, but look at something like Dennis, the anxiety guy, what he's able to do now, his story, what he went through, and his suffering, his story, and now look at him. He inspired somebody like me, a 23-year-old in Ohio, to try to do somewhat, the same thing. And, him and I, work together. We'll probably work together in the future in some ways, and you know, have done some work. I've done some video for him, and I've shared a lot of his content, and we've interacted a lot online with other people in the live streams, and also just getting to know him privately in person, or and not in person, but privately and just messaging each other and getting to know each other and he's become one of my, like I said, he's a friend of mine, and just glad to call him my friend. And to look what somebody like that can do, and just many other people. I mean, there's so many other people I watch, like Kwame Brown. He said this guy was a bust for years. He was a failure, like, because he didn't pan out as maybe people wanted or thought he would as an NBA player. But then he told the truth of what really happened. And then also now you see what he's doing now. He has a bigger purpose than basketball, which is way more important. Basketball's just a game, but there's a bigger purpose from it. There's so many other guys you can name and think of. I mean, uh, so many other people, and it's just, you know, don't ever give up on yourself. Don't ever give up on your dreams. Don't ever allow the fear to control you. Don't and just start surrendering today. Surrender it all to God. Surrender it all to Him. Watch your guys take risks. I mean, allow yourself to just be and allow yourself to just be vulnerable. And when those feelings and symptoms come on, embrace them. Make a healthy relationship with the fear, with the anxiety. You can become one with it. It doesn't have to be your enemy. It's not your enemy. It's really just looking out for you. And you know, that's really my message for today. Just embrace new, embrace where you are. Sometimes it's good to just slow down and just allow things. And just remember, guys, in time, and this is good for me, things will happen. God has a plan for us. God will allow things at the perfect time. Even if it's like with that Tony Evans sermon, you know, he slowly opened doors in Joseph's life. He gave Joseph little glimpses and little spoon. And God will do that. He'll give us little spoonfuls of things. He'll spoon feed us sometimes. Give us little, keep us going. He may not reveal it all to us right now, right? But you may not. Same thing with your anxiety. You may not be fully healed to where you want to be yet. But just know if you stay committed to Him, you stay committed to the process, to the program, and whatever you're doing that's working for you, stick with it, and you'll get to where you want to go in a matter of time. Like I said, it's whenever as far away as you think. And trust me, guys, it's not easy to do, think that sometimes. I get like that. Sometimes I think I'm far away, or I doubt something, or I'm like, gosh, what's going on? But I'm never as far away as we think. I'm not as far away from things. I know I'm not, even though sometimes I get tested. But God reminds me, and I know same thing with you guys. He reminds us that we're never as far away as we think, and God likes to surprise us too. So usually, when we least expect it is when it'll happen, when things will start to change, and when we just start by gaining that clarity and just surrendering. Just when you start to surrender more and let go, just the clarity and just the peace and the understanding you gain for yourself, just God really just starts to develop your character, your inner power, and just um, it's something incredible. And you start to look at things from a different lens for what things really are. And things are never what we make them out to be. Things are really more simple than we usually would make them out to be. Things aren't as scary as we often think they are, and they usually aren't at all. And so, um, yeah, that's the message for today. Like I said, I'll link that video below to Dennis's Rumble. I'll link the Tony Evans sermon below as well. Love all you guys. Like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. And appreciate you guys for tuning in. Plan on doing more videos like this now. It's nice out. I like doing these more outdoor ones, get out from the desk, and these are a little easier, but also I can sit and just kind of say more and raw, a little more uncut, which is who I really am, anyways. And so, what I like to do. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Um, I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm trying to think. Anything else I want to say on the way out of here? Go Cavs. Hopefully beat the win game one against the Knicks. Should be a good series. I think we'll win. So go Cavs there. Excited for the playoffs, like I said. We'll be reacting to it. Me and the guys will be coming up, giving our takes on things and all that. Trying to think, man. Trying to think. I think there's something else I want to say. Maybe not. No, that's all I got for you guys today. I guess that's it. So, like I said, leave your comment below. That's what I meant to say. Leave your comment below in this video. What we took from the message. Um, yeah, just leave a comment below and just feel free to hit me up online or anything you want to mention. Maybe you're going through something I mentioned. Maybe we're going through the same thing. Something I've been through. Feel free to reach out to me. Reach out to Dennis. Um, yeah, I can't think of anything else. So Shout out to all you guys, love all you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, share all that good stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out of here. Gone.